Jason, welcome to the show, brother.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Man, we've known each other for what now? Like uh, almost 20 years, I'd say.
It's been a long time. Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know, obviously, I had a pawn shop with my brother. Jason was the guy who came in, was our first IT guy, came in to help us set all the IT stuff up because me and my brother don't know what we're doing when it comes to that stuff. We had purchased the software out of Florida. I don't know how did we find you? Do you remember? Were you recommended? Did we just Google you? Like what happened?
I I honestly don't remember. I think you must have just found us randomly, or it was a referral. It was so long ago at this point, I can't remember what happened.
So we found Jason, fellow tribesman, and we've had a relationship ever since. You work in IT, and I'll tell what I'll let people hear what you do in a little bit, but you've been there to support us and the family through our trials and tribulations of technology. So I appreciate that. Um, but thanks for being here, bro. If you want to let people know, you own Beanstalk Computing. What does Beanstalk Computing do?
Yeah. So I've run Beanstalk Computing, an IT company here in San Diego for 18 years now, and we work with small businesses like Cashco and recruiting companies, law firms, property management companies, private practice medical offices to help them focus and run their business with the use of technology. We come in and we are managing their computer network. We're providing them help desk services, cloud computing. We're providing on-site services and support and everything that they need from a whole and picture to run their business, including cybersecurity and everything that in between. And we help them grow their business with the use of technology by providing not just there to fix their computers, but there as more of like a business partner to help them come up with a plan. We meet with them regularly to in technology business reviews and review what's their roadmap for the future of their business. How can we make them more efficient with the use of technology? How can we make them a more profitable company by leveraging technology in their business more effectively?
Love it, man. And you do such a great job. I remember back in the day, you're a guy who just has like ease, like you just give ease. You're patient, you're kind, you're easy to work with. And I remember back in the day, you set us all up and you just be like, no worries. Like when something broke, you're like, I'll be there. Don't worry about it. We got you covered. We were freaking out. We're like, no worries. We got you covered. So much appreciated, man. And, recently you won an award. I know you took your business to a whole nother level. You kind of like revamped it. So congrats to you on doing that. And all of that came after kind of like two major incidents in your life. One was a major accident, and the other was being diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Well, I've actually almost died 5 times,
Oh my goodness.
and each one of them is an interesting story that I'd like to share with you.
Please.
Uh, and so let me start with like this. What if I told you that overcoming 5 seemingly impossible obstacles is not just a story, but a reality, my reality? The first, the first time I almost died, it was a drowning incident. I was just 2 years old. Picture this, I was at my grandparents' house and I lived in Hollywood Hills. So we were up in the hills of Hollywood. And all the parents and my grandparents were in the kitchen prepping for lunch when my grandfather noticed me face down in the pool.
Mm.
He jumped in the pool with all his clothes on, but of course, still took his shoes off and pulled me out of the water, right? Saving my life in the nick of time. So after that day, they installed a pool cover. Yeah.
I'm sure.
So little did I know, this was just the beginning of my brush with death. The second time was in a car. It was a dark and stormy night. I was about 10 years old and in the car with my mom. it was the 80s, and so during that time, no one's wearing seatbelts,
Of course not.
and I'm sitting in the front seat. We lived in Hollywood Hills, and we're driving in her Volvo along Mulholland Drive, which, if you don't know, is a twisty and dangerous road along the cliffs in the hills there. Well, going around a corner, my mom lost control on a slippery curve, and we're heading straight off the cliff.
Oh my goodness.
A good Samaritan driving the opposite direction took some swift action and intentionally crashed into us, saving us from plummeting to our death off the
Wow.
cliff. I survived that night, luckily, right, with just a bloody nose and thankful for the help of that stranger.
Craziness.
No, so now we've gone through two.
Yeah. What's number three?
Well, surviving that night made me realize how unpredictable life can be. And the third incident was on a bicycle. The third time I almost died, I was in my early 40s, and I'm 48 now, so about 5 years ago, living here in San Diego. I'm an avid bike rider, and I was on my way from my home in UTC, uh, east. So as I was riding through an intersection in Kearney Mesa, I got T-boned by a car going 30 miles an hour.
Mm.
It was one of those situations where the dad was looking back at his kids at the back seat with his fingers waving, "Now, kids!" Well, the impact of the car immediately ripped the bone out of my leg
Oh,
and launched me 30 feet in the air, unconsciously spinning like a rag doll. I landed on my head in the middle of the intersection. Luckily, I was wearing a helmet. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here to tell you the story today. There was a crater-sized dent in that helmet.
oh my goodness.
After months of rehabilitation, I still ride a bike today. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
It's brave, my friend. It's brave. Number four. So number three was the bicycle accident. What's number four?
Number four is food poisoning. So the fourth time I almost died, I was in Israel. And this is last summer of 23. You see, I've never had been to Israel, and it had always been a dream of mine to go since I was 13 years old, because we were originally planning on having my bar mitzvah in
Mm,
Israel. That never happened. Couldn't get all the family members to fly out there. It's expensive, it's time consuming, and it's challenging, right?
yeah.
And I never had the chance to do birthright.
Okay.
I always wanted to, but I ended up actually going to Japan as an exchange student and doing all these other things that kind of got in the way. And so it's been a dream of mine to go to Israel and take my family there. And so we ended up finally being able to go. And luckily we went right before the war started, because
Mm.
it was still a safe time to go. And I got to take my son there, who's 10, and he's prepping to have his bar mitzvah, and
Oh, wow.
be able to go to Israel and see, see be there and see that community, see how people live there, and learn more about the culture there. It was
Yeah.
great. So anyway, me and my family were at this time in the Negev Desert, staying at a hostel at the base of Masada. Uh, we wanted to stay at the base because we wanted to wake up the very next morning and just hike up. We didn't want to have to drive there, because you want to start right really early
Yeah.
so you can be up for sunrise.
Yeah. I've done it. Yeah.
Well, I made the mistake of eating fish in the desert,
Yeah. All right.
and I got food poisoning. Uh, so I had that fish in the hostel the night before we went up. No one else in
Sounds
my
like
family
sounds
ever.
like a scary movie. Like I went to a hostel in the desert. I was they gave me fish.
Yeah. That's right. But anyway, the next morning, very early, we started our climb up Masada overlooking the Dead Sea. We started early so we could get to the top and watch the sunrise. And I made it to the top, but unfortunately, I was not able to enjoy the sunrise as I was in the bathroom the whole time,
Oh my goodness.
sick with food poisoning. Fast forward a week later, we get back to America, and I have to go straight to the emergency room. They discovered I was bone dry from dehydration, and my liver was damaged from being sick in the desert.
Whoa.
I was actually so uncomfortable that my organs were shutting down. I at one point I asked the doctor if I should could just go home, and he said, "Sure, sure, you can go home. You'll probably die, but you
Oh
can."
my goodness. Sheesh.
Yeah. So after several days pumping me full of fluids, they nursed me back to health. My kidneys recovered, and I went home. And I'd say that experience was kind of a stark reminder of how fragile life can be, but it
Yeah.
also led to a life-saving discovery, and that is the next time I almost died, which is related to cancer. The fifth time I almost died was just a few months later. I got diagnosed with a form of cancer called multiple myeloma. This was about a year, it's about a little over a year now, and which is a cancer of the bone marrow, cancer of the blood. And the first treatment I got from that, the first treatment I got when I was diagnosed landed me in the hospital for a week and it was touch and go, a real close call. It was actually the food poisoning incident in Israel that led the doctors to run all these tests on me, which led them to discover that I have multiple myeloma.
So it was like life savings having that food poisoning because those tests discovered the cancer.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I am incredibly lucky as is discovered it just in time. As because if it went along untreated, they told me I only have had a few months to live.
Oh my goodness.
So I feel that I have this great gift where I went to the Holy Land and I came back with this gift of knowledge that saved my life.
Incredible, man. Wow. And so are you in remission now? Like what's you were diagnosed a year ago. Thankfully you look healthy, you look good. But what's happening at the moment?
So when I first got diagnosed, I was interviewing with different what are they called again?
Oncologist?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. When I first got diagnosed, I was interviewing with different oncologists, and one of the oncologists told me that there is a lore in oncology, and that is the the more hold on, let me get my thoughts together.
You went to go talk to the oncologist and one of them said,
There is a lore in oncology, and that is the greater uh not in it's not the impact, it's the because I had like a really strong reaction. That's the word.
okay,
Because I had such a strong reaction to the initial treatment, the lore is that you will go into remission very quickly.
hmm, okay,
And that's actually what happened. So I went into remission 1 month after I was diagnosed.
wow,
I'm still in remission now. I have to maintain the and go in. I have to maintain, go in and take treatments, which is I have to get treatments that are a a type of oh man, I'm losing my words all of a sudden.
it's all good. Speak from the heart, brother.
It's Yeah, it's tough. Every 2 weeks, I go into UCSD and get additional maintenance therapy, which includes a form of targeted chemo. And normally, it's not that impactful on my life. Once a month, when I get both two different types of treatments at the same time, it kind of puts me out for a day or two and I have to rest. I kind of feel like I have the flu and have indigestion. But other
Okay.
than that, I'm living a great life. It doesn't impact me on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, good to hear. I'm so happy for that, man. And may you stay healthy forever, for a very, very long time. Just tell me, man, when you got diagnosed with cancer, first of all, it sounds like you were diagnosed and then at the same time, you took your business to a whole different level. Like, I feel like you did it at the same time and it didn't affect, your motivation or your drive to keep building Beanstalk. How did you do that? Like, what was the mindset around that? And then my second question would be, the support that you had around you to do both those at the same time. I'm sure people must have been like, no, you just rest, you have cancer, take it easy. And it sounds like you were just like, F it, like, let's go all in. So how did that work? How did you have that drive to make it happen?
Well, for the last couple of years, I've joined a group for business owners in that are MSPs that are focusing on growing your business, developing marketing, and having the tools and mindset in place to help you get to your goals. I had been, before I got diagnosed, I had been just running my business as a lifestyle business. I was happy with where I'm at. I'm making enough money that I can live my life. I can go on vacation. I can pay my bills. And now I've completely shifted my mindset to growing an actual fledgling business that can grow exponentially so that I can build that business in a way that it I can build this business so that it's profitable and it it's profitable and that I can eventually sell the business
Uh,
and have a nest egg for my family in case I'm no longer here.
Now, for those who are listening and don't know the difference, a lot of people have lifestyle businesses, right? What's the difference of a lifestyle business and like a real business that you just mentioned? Like, what did you have to do? What were some of those small changes? And let's start there.
That's a great question. So I used to treat my business as my personal checking account. Uh, I would just take money out as needed and wouldn't think about the profits, wouldn't think about the growth. And then I got smarter and I got serious about surrounding myself with successful people and learning from them on how they've grown their business and putting in policies and procedures, bringing in more into the organization, having what I call a growth plan, having a big, hairy, audacious goal.
Yeah, BHAGs.
Yeah. Yep. And mine is to grow my business 10x in about 10 years. So to get there, you can't think you're no longer in a lifestyle business mindset. You're in a growth mindset.
So your cancer, when they found the cancer, that was kind of like the driver where you said like enough is enough. I want to actually grow this business into something that's scalable, that's sellable. Either, my kids can take over or I can sell it to have a nest egg. And so that was kind of like the switch that
Yeah.
turned it all on.
It was like the cancer was shaking me, saying, "Wake up. It's
Yeah.
time to work. It's time
Mm.
to succeed. It's time to grow."
What were some of the things, you talked about policies and procedures. What were some of the other things that you did to go from a lifestyle business to a real business where you were, oh, hold on, that's my camera. So what else did you do when it came to changing from a lifestyle business to a real business with the cancer? And I love how you said like, the cancer shook me and said like, wake up, it's actually time to go to work. And I feel like a lot of us listening, we work, but we don't actually work. Like we don't put in the
Yeah.
drive, the not the time, like the the knowledge or the intelligence to actually build something, and we're just kind of like working with mediocrity as opposed to at a different level to take it to a different scale. Would you agree with that?
Yes, 100%, sure. We have changed so much since then. Redeveloped our messaging, our website's been redone. We actually have a marketing budget. We never did any marketing before. There was no marketing. It was just referrals and word of mouth.
Yeah,
And those come sporadically. You don't have control. You don't have a system in place that you know is going to bring in leads on a regular basis. So having a marketing automation system that automates marketing efforts. We're doing direct mail marketing campaigns. We
nice.
launched a referral, an official referral club for, so with that, all of we all of our all the employees at all of our clients are acting as an army of referral agents because
Mm,
they are part of this referral program and looking out for new business for us.
love it.
We've hired marketing and sales people. We have created all these tests. We have added dozens of testimonials onto our website. We have physical we have physical marketing material we hand out to when we are meeting with new customers, and we have quarterly and annual goals from both a growth and marketing perspective that we have discussions in our team with. The other thing that I found important was I have actually brought on a business partner,
Mm,
someone that I know, like, and trust, went to college together, have known each other for decades, and having someone else to bounce ideas off of and we meet regularly. Once a week, we have a powwow and we talk business development. We talk uh, business growth and how we're going to grow the business together. And also, as someone that has been diagnosed with cancer, the other important thing about having a business partner is if there's a situation where I'm no longer around, he can continue running the business or sell. We have, depending on what stage we're at, so that it doesn't just stop with me.
yeah. Did you ever have people tell you like, as the cancer shook you and you started to actually work harder, as you mentioned, did you have people tell you like, hey, I think Jason, you need to slow down, you need to relax, you have cancer, you're getting treatments, all that type of stuff? Or was it just like, F it, I don't care. Like I'm just gonna go all in from there.
Yeah, so this cancer can affect it affects everyone differently. Some people I've talked to said after they were diagnosed, they retired. They sold
Yeah.
their business or stopped working so they could focus on other things. For me, because I, as of right now, I have zero impact except for 1 day a month that from this diagnosis. I'm going at full speed. Work hard, live hard, and play hard. So I have a bucket list of items that I would love to do. I'd love to go to outer space. Which will start with me going on a zero-G flight for my 50th in a year,
Nice.
and then I, then I'd like to go to outer space within the next 10 years. And all these bucket lists, I've all these thoughts in my head about all these bucket list items I want to do have been brought to the front line so that I can experience everything about this life. I love to travel. I love music. I love technology. And we go on a trip, 2 international trips a year is the goal. And so, for example, we're going to Japan in a few months and taking my family there for the Cherry Blossom Festival.
Nice.
Went to Croatia. I've been to about 35, 40 countries in my life.
Amazing. Love it. So it's just driven you to actually live. It's well, I love what you said. You said work hard, live hard. And it seems like that's exactly what you're doing because of the diagnosis. You're building a bigger business, a business that you can scale and sell and grow, but you're actually also living hard. You're going on vacations. You brought your bucket list to the forefront. I'm going to guess that family time is as important, and just being present with your family
Yeah.
is included in there, of course. Um, what else would you tell people, like, having these 5 times that you almost died in the last cancer uh, diagnosis? Where do you think when you talk to people, when you hear people complaining that they're stuck, you work with a lot of business owners, what would you tell somebody who's listening, either a business owner or an employee of a business, to shake them essentially out of their thought process, their whatever's keeping them to be mediocre?
I would say what has really helped me is starting each day off with a meditation and being positive. What has saved me is keeping a positive attitude. If someone is struggling and they, for example, get diagnosed with cancer, you have one of two ways you can go. You can get all depressed and negative about what the situation you're in, and that'll eventually get you nowhere. Having a positive attitude is what has kept me thriving and kept me successful, even with this diagnosis. And it's probably going to save my life because mind over matter, you know, what your thought process entails can greatly impact your health and your body.
Yeah,
And I feel that waking up and having a positive attitude, no matter what's the situation, staying positive and staying positive is the most important thing. You've got to find the will to do that. You've got to find the path that works for you, whether that be meditating like I do, whether that be writing a gratitude list every day of what you have, what you're grateful for,
yeah,
and reviewing that and get rid of the negative self-talk and try and work on the staying present, staying positive, and being happy, smile.
yeah. And going back to when we first met many, many years ago, you always had that positive attitude. You always had the calm. You were always collected. When stuff, like I said, broke down, you're like, okay, cool, we got this. We'll figure it out. Um, Ever since I've known you, there was never a stress and anxious, and you're always just kind of like slow paced, cool, calm, collected,
Yeah,
which I'm gonna guess helped so much with your family when you got the diagnosis, right? With your wife and your kids. Just seeing you being positive, being calm and collected. And I'm sure it also impacts your you're growing the business, right? As you're growing the business, being positive, meditating has helped you take it to a whole different level.
absolutely. And your energy is reflected on everyone around you. So the rest of the team you work with, your clients, the people, your family, everyone around you, they're gonna be impacted by the energy that you bring with you every day. And not everyone that you meet is going to have that same energy. They may not be as positive, they may not be as relaxed or as calm about what's going on in their life, but being around someone else that does have that energy will help everyone in the room rise up to the occasion.
Love it. Cool, man. Jason, what would you tell the men who are listening to the show at the moment who are living in a life that's not positive, that they don't have a good mindset? that they're, complaining that they're striving, but they just can't do it. What would you tell them to be able to break them out of it so that they have the drive that you have, hopefully, God willing, without getting a cancer diagnosis?
Well, that's a good question. Confucius once said, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Or as I like to say, always be the dumbest person in the room. I like to surround myself with people that I can learn from. And for example, I have always had a fear of public speaking, and I'm starting to do that more and more. For example, I'm on a podcast right now. So I recently joined a Jewish Toastmasters group. Toastmasters is a group that teaches you better skills in public speaking, and surrounding myself with people that are in the tribe and are learning to public speak with me has really given me an additional level of confidence in that part of my life.
Awesome.
Joining or joining any other type of support group. I'm in a support group for business development and marketing. Um, I I'm in a support group for my cancer diagnosis. I'm in a support group for all these different parts of my life so that I can be part of a community, learn from others, help them learn, and in turn we all rise and become more confident and go from there.
Love it. Jason, thank you so much for being on, brother. I hope and pray that God gives you health for a very, very long time. As we tell all the guests here, may you have strength and courage. I think that the courage naturally shows, almost dying 5 times, but this last one with a cancer diagnosis, it's amazing to see that you just, the drive increased as opposed to being depressed and getting down. You stayed with that positive attitude and you've grown the business, and hopefully you'll take it to that 10x soon. But thank you, man. I appreciate your time here. I appreciate you giving value to people. And if you're listening to this, don't wait for a diagnosis. Don't wait for something bad to happen. Don't wait to get, not so good news, to kick your ass in gear, kick it up a notch. And as you said, Jason, work hard and live hard. Any last parting message to the guys, Jason?
I think you said it right, Yigal. The last parting message I would be is exactly don't wait. Don't wait for some event to happen. Don't wait for some thing to get in the way. Start living now. Start the process now. And I must have wasted at least 10, 15 years running my business as a lifestyle business. Who knows how successful I could be now if I had a different mindset.
Love it. Thank you so much, and stay tuned for the next episode of the Tribesmen Podcast.